right, the mic should be on. Hopefully, I am visible. And yes, this is live. Managed to catch that from who said that? A. Thompson. Okay. You made my afternoon. Pat got lazy and ended very early. Well, this won't be taking very long. I'm very tired. I intended to have already have taken a nap by now. But this is a drawing I did last night because the subject of Bill Bixby came up on Pat's show. And I thought, okay, I'll try to do a little cartoon of Bill Bixby. As best to my memory is how he was done Mad Magazine style, which is my main influence of drawing and whatnot. I don't know. He kind of looks more like Dustin Hoffman here or something. Anyway, it's what I'm going with. And so now I've got him in Photoshop and we'll make the attempt to color the picture. So instead of scanning it in, I just went ahead and took a picture of it with my phone and brought him in. So sometimes that works out. It's not too bad. So anyway, let's see here. Desaturate to make it absolutely black and white. And then we'll do the contrast. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. And there we go. And add this paint dry brush feature, which sort of, in my opinion, make it better and solidifies the blacks. And by blacks, I mean the black ink. Giggle, tee hee. So, if I weren't so out of it, could have tried to draw John Lithgow from that Raising Cain movie. And then, of course, John Travolta from Fanatic. I remember hearing about the movie when it came out, but I'd only ever seen like the trailer or the promos of it, and which is pretty much all you need, I would think. You get the idea, and just that ridiculous haircut, or well, wig actually. It's just hilarious, even though it's supposed to be this really basically like a horror movie type thing of some obsessive nut just won't leave. And I guess because it's John Travolta doing it, I don't know. But what are you gonna do? It was kind of silly. So never bothered to look into it. I never did. I don't think I ever saw his Gotti movie when he did Gotti. That was another one that everybody just sort of rolled their eyes. But him playing what was that guy's name? Bob Shapiro, I think, from the OJ trial, and the FX did that series on that. Surprisingly enough, that wasn't too bad. Again, it came across more comedy than anything else, and yet I don't know. I had a good time watching it, and of course, Travolta played Shapiro. He looked nothing like him, but then again, Cuba Gooding Jr. looked nothing like OJ, but kind of where the lady playing Marsha Clark was kind of close to Marsha. But anyway, it was interesting. So typically what I do here is go ahead and take out all the background. I'm sorry I had to pop some gum and chew, so you'll be hearing that as I'm working on this. For Bill Bixby. There's not much else to say. I did all the Don't Make Me Angry jokes last night, so I'm kind of like, but John Lithgow and John Travolta would have been good subjects to draw. But I'm just too damn. I'm really beat. But you know the thing about it, and I once again spent a lot of money on super tips because just can't help it. It's so damn funny, or fun rather. Well, funny too. You know, I mean, it depends on the ideas you come up with. But using the voice, and Kevin Brennan is hands down my favorite voice to use. You know, in spite of all of you know the deal. It's just so funny, and the AI really captures him like no other, and just there's sort of this struggle to say the line or whatever that's typed in, and yeah, jeez, it just maybe it's just me, but it just never gets old. And having him basically speak my opinions on the Alien movie franchise and stuff like that. There are really only 2 Alien movies. The first one and the second one. Yeah, what did I put? I put like Alien Covenant was more like Alien Oven Cunt. Alien Covenant is easily the worst. Now there's some stinkers here and there for the attempts pursuing the Alien movies as a franchise, and sometimes it's usually just one and done. But I do think the sequel Aliens is good on its own as well. I mean, well, on its own, I mean, it's dependent on the first one, of course. But that's one of those interesting things where they crafted a sequel that, of course, is derivative and repetitive of the nature of the original to some extent. But it went off on its own, and in my opinion, Aliens is more akin to war movie than horror movie that the first one was. The first one has a lot of the elements of horror. It's just it's in outer space, where certainly that can take place there as well, if not more so. It's the great unknown, and you don't know what's out there. And in that case, there's a monster out there, and so it fit in, even to the point of the female character survives at the end. There's quite a few tropes of horror movies. Usually, kids in the woods, that kind of thing. Certainly the Friday the 13th and all that, and not all the girls, just one. Usually the nerdy girl that was kind of shy and quiet and all this sort of thing. Lives. Usually the black guy, the first one to die. Stuff. In this case, that didn't happen. It was the British dude. He went first. An old chest burster. And the black guy, pretty much towards the end is when he died, because stupid Lambert was panicking, wouldn't get out of the way so he could at least try the damn flamethrower on the monster, But he's like, well, I can't barbecue her. So he decides to gonna try to fist fight this monster. It didn't work out. Whereas the second one, of course, is the war movie. It's even dealing for Sigourney Weaver's Ripley character, struggling with PTSD after surviving the horrific experience of the first movie on the Nostromo. And so there's elements of that. but the rest of it is the space marines that go with her in their position of they're all rather arrogant. They're all pretty confident in themselves, and they're veterans. They've done missions like this before, just not against alien monsters. Usually they were, fighting other humans, and there was always this thing which they've never really explored in the other movies, that there's some sort of colonial dispute going on in outer space and whatever planets they've colonized and all that sort of stuff, wanting to break away from the rules of Mother Earth, I suppose, and obviously whatever the corporate governance that they're under with Wayland Utani and all that stuff. And so it's the kind of thing I thought they could have delved into more. In Romulus, you do get some of that in the not so much the war, but it's just the kind of crappy life that some of the people live out there in those colonies. And so like the main characters are looking for a way to get off the planet and go try somewhere else. And that's what leads them to the abandoned space station that they mistook for being a spaceship, but what have you, they needed the supplies to try to travel to another star system. And there's an alien infestation on there. And so that's what happens. So that's kind of implied and insinuated or what have you for the Marines that are sent in to the colony in Aliens in the second movie. And they're all kind of, full of themselves, even though Ripley tries to warn them, but, no one really listens until it's too late. And most of them, the platoon or what have you, gets wiped out pretty early. And then, even though there's a lot of horror elements in it, they're trapped and they've got to fight them off. But it's still, they're soldiers. It is warlike in the approach to it of how to defeat these creatures. And most of, only a few make it. Ripley, Michael Biehn, and the little girl that they find survives. And all the other soldiers, they didn't make it. But you got some good Bill Paxton lines, Why did you put her in charge? And he's a good example of one of the ones who was, he's all full of himself, that kind of thing, and boasting and stuff. They all did to a certain extent. I mean, not so much the Biehn character. He was a bit more serious. Even though he didn't quite know what they were getting into either. But that was the approach to it, and which differentiates it from the original, which is something you really should look for if you care. Most of these movie projects, it's obvious they don't. But it gives the film an identity unto itself. Whereas for the most part, and when it comes to sequels and that sort of thing, they don't really do that. They just sort of, and I mean, it's understandable for a business approach in that this is the objective. You had this property or this film that did very well, and the characters are rather beloved. And more of these guys, and so you throw together some take on them that supposed to continue a story that's already been told, and so you gotta, what's the next story to tell from the previous one? And they found a way for that in Alien, and in this case, it's just sort of like Sigourney Weaver, or Ripley rather, her character survived, and now she's got to face what happened because she's still rather broken from the experience and that sort of thing. And that's ultimately what convinces her to go on this mission. And so it goes to the war template rather than, oh well, she gets a new job, she's back in space, and accidentally stumbles into more aliens. And no, in fact, they go to the same planet that they went to previously, and because they sent a colony over there, and then suddenly they get an signal, or they don't report in, and they're like, oh crap, something's happened. And well, now we're starting to think maybe Ripley's story about aliens who bleed acid and all that stuff was true. Now, one of the elements of it is how many of those executives were aware that what she was saying was true. Obviously, the what's his name? Burke was the character, but the guy. Well, this is the actor's name. That he was, mad about you and all that. Plays a great part in the movie. Just a complete piece of shit guy in the movie, and he obviously knew what was up, but it's not like all the company would be aware of the overall plot of the company's interest, that they sent Nostromo there for the main purpose of getting the alien. That's all they cared about. They didn't really give a shit about the crew and that sort of thing. And nothing's really changed. They're still interested in this thing. As to why, even in the first movie, it's suggested that, it must be for the weapons program. And, weapons, weapons for what? So, there's some sort of conflict going on, and somehow utilizing some sort of bioweapons or whatnot out of these creatures could give them an edge on this conflict. So that's the idea. However, they've changed things since Ridley Scott came back to do his Prometheus movie, which had a lot of interesting atmospherics to it, I suppose. It failed aesthetically as far as being connected, whereas Alien Romulus doesn't fail on that. It does look like it's from that same era that the original movie was in, even though the story-wise, this is supposed to be 20 years in between. But you got to understand, they're not like Star Trek where they can warp space and stuff, so it takes a long time to travel. So a lot of their technology would remain rather similar. And it looks like Alien. But whereas Prometheus didn't, at the time, I sort of, I guess because that was Weyland Yutani's, or not Yutani, I guess his name was just Weyland. I forget where Yutani is, like the merger or whatever. But anyway, the main guy who formed the Weyland company, he was still alive and looking to see if alien technology could give him immortality and restore his youth and all that. Instead, he just got his head ripped off, I believe. But anyway, that was his objective. Whereas the companies overall are interested in what became known as the engineers in that movie and their ability to advance evolution rapidly. And so they're interested in that. It's kind of stupid. As the motivation for it, the weapon story could have been probably a lot better and more in keeping of it, or just the technology overall they were more interested in. But the creature themselves, what purpose would it be other than that? But that appears to be the case in Romulus, as they do this business where this pregnant woman injects herself with the DNA that they secured from the alien in the hopes that she got badly injured, and I guess she was thinking it could save her or whatever, and her baby instead turns her baby into an engineer alien hybrid monster that just looks ridiculous in the movie. I just thought that was a terrible ending. There's a lot of interesting parts to it. The guy who plays the android is really good, but it's like a good talent that's just wasted, and stuff like that. But and some of the timestamps on it. I mean, one of the characters, the face hugger, gets on her face, and I mean, a couple of minutes later, it's bursting out of her chest. Um, it's it's rather unnecessary. They could have, if they had done it accurately, she would have been around for a while before it did, and then they could have that. Uh, but it's very inconsistent with what was already been established in the previous movies about how long it took for the gestation process. um, and I suppose you can sort of conclude that this particular version of the face hugger was a genetically altered one that the humans had created in the lab, trying to perfect the alien DNA and all that. And so maybe it's a little faster because it's different and all that. But you know what? I'm there to watch the movie and be entertained. I'm not there to fill in the blank script for them and write it for them. They didn't pay me to come up with that. And even though the elements are on the screen to some extent for it not directly, even though they had a basically a narrator there with AI or CGI Ian Holm returning, I guess not returning it, but playing another version of the same android that was in the original Alien film. So he's the special guest star of the film. And he could have given some explanation, I suppose, to it. But ultimately, it had some entertaining aspects to it. But I call it like the best of the failed sequels to Alien, because I do see it as a failure. And there's only 2 Alien films. And it's sad. Has nothing to do with Bill Bixby, but so there he is. I guess that'll do it for the color. And that'll be the color version of Bill Bixby. And hopefully he's not mad at me for not spending any more time on this. But before I go, I thought I'd give a little look at this. This was a Photoshop I did and sent to Pat, and he showed it at the end of his live stream. Let's see. Oh, geez, I got a lot of chats in here from A. Thompson. Paul Reiser. That's right, Karmic. Yes, that is right. All right, I'll get back to those after I do this quick thing. So I sent in, of course, he was looking at Fanatic, the John Travolta film, and there he is as he has broken into this actor's home that he's obsessed with. He's already messed with him, took a selfie with him, dropped his camera on his chest. The guy just barely wakes up and then goes back to sleep. And then he later kisses his cheek and rubs his ear and sniffs it or something. Puts a blanket over him, and the guy completely unaware. Now, I suspect he's got 2 cans of beer here, I suppose, and a thing of pills. So perhaps that's the explanation. But he did wake up initially. So either, oh my God, John Travolta's in my house. But anyway, there it is. And he's just sitting there sawing logs while his number one fan, wearing Gavin McGinnis's shirt, sits down to watch TV. And isn't this creepy? So kind of the same thing of obsessiveness of a fan like Misery, but there it is. So I've used this before. I think maybe Kumia, but the scene looked different. It was a different framing on it, I think. But anyway, that's one of the main images from the teaser I remember. So of course had to add, yes, Pat Dixon in there. I went through my file of Pat Dixon heads and faces. This one kind of looks like he's asleep. He isn't. in that, and the head's a little up, so it doesn't quite work. I suppose I could have stretched it, and um, maybe something like that. But see, it just sort of flattens out. It doesn't really work that way. Um, yeah, maybe should have. I don't know. Oh well, I didn't. So, so anyway, there's Pat in there with his number one fan. Yes, yes, came to his house to watch his TV while he gets in a nap. So then, if this was to be used as a potential thumbnail, there you go. Stream at 11. And then my little signature. So, oh boy, there's a complete Mr. Nelson Photoshop with John Travolta and Pat Dixon. There you go. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Hey, Thompson, it's a space movie about. Oh, wait. Did I get. Oh, good Lord, there's a lot here. Jeez Louise. Hey, Thompson, Doug. Hey, Thompson, is this live? Yes, you made my afternoon, Pat. Oh, I already read that one. You aren't monetized? No, I'm not. No, I try so hard, and it doesn't happen. Oh, Pat Dixon's here. Well, hi, Pat. Bill Bixby is still a mystery to me. Well, the mystery, he's not around anymore because he died of cancer. I suppose he's a bit mysterious to some. Some suspect he may have played for the other team. I'm not sure about that. I do know his wife did, and their marriage ended as a result. But yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean he said, well, maybe I should give it a try. Or they were both beards for one another. I don't know. But whatever. Rest in peace. He's gone. No more Bill Bixby Hulk stuff. Anyway, A. Thompson says, I was going to throw you some change to draw something strange. Well, maybe one day. But for now, no. Although I guess Rumble could. I don't know if you can do. I don't know if there's like a criteria for it. It does say everything's monetized, so there's like, a fraction of pennies I'll earn. But I don't know about the Rumble rants. I don't know. Anyway, A. Thompson again. Oh, cool. Show me the technical details on how to use Photoshop. Are you on a Wacom tablet? No, I am not. I do not have one. I keep thinking about it, but yeah, maybe one day. That would make things a lot easier. I just use pen and paper and scan it in, or, photograph it. A. Thompson, wait. Karmic. Hey, Doug. Hey, Karmic. Hey, Thompson. See, this is what I like to watch. So after you finish this, how could you animate this? Animate Bill Bixby? Well, I would have to draw the mouth movements and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's how I do it. There are programs that I just haven't taken the time to deal with. They're fine. But the way I do it, especially specifically for the New York Post stories on Pat's Crime Report show, is the old-fashioned way, frame by frame. And a lot of it would be one drawing, and then I will, cut a leg off, draw a new one. Sometimes I draw it all in advance, where the limbs and whatnot and their different movements will be available for me to change out the positions so it looks like they're walking or beating someone to death, all that good fun stuff that happens in New York Post stories. So that's how I do it. And then the frames are done, and I just put them all together at fast speed, and good old fashioned Windows Movie Maker. It's just as simple as that. Hey, Thompson, I just want to learn how to animate the mouth to make the characters talk. Well, you draw the mouth open, and then you draw it closed. Actually, you want to draw it sort of open, a little bit open, all the way open. Then if you want them to scream and stuff, it's got to get more exaggerated. You get a bunch of those, and then you just stick them on the flat picture. So with Bill Bixby there, yeah, I could do that. What, a moho? Moho, yes, We could all use Moho. It's pretty decent animation program if you want to try things like mouth movements, but you can also rig regular images to move. Well, I'm going to have to look into Moho. Karmic AIKB is hilarious. Yes, it's just can't get enough. Pat Dixon, you're right. The Kevin voice is gold. Hit the like button, you coward, says Pat. Or rather, hit the like button. I can't do Pat's voice. hit the like button, you coward. Nah, it doesn't come out right. Oh, well. LOL, that AIKB turned out great. Plus, the way Doug read 90s was gold. Reading 90s. Well, if we have a chick in her 90, I will read it. I will. The HR Giger place in Switzerland is incredible. I can imagine. Good Lord. Says A. Thompson, sorry. Maybe one day there will be an A.I. Thompson. A. Thompson, I just want to rig an image to talk. Nothing fancy, like those super tips. Karmic says, H.R. Giger's gravestone is incredible too. I don't know if he designed that in life, but it's pretty cool. He's the type of guy who might have, this is what you will bury me under. Okay, H.R., you're the man. A. Thompson, Doug is a snob. All alien movies are great. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to be a snob on that one. Karmic, on the easy, you can edit with a regular video editor, overlay a open mouth and a closed mouth. Canadian Spider-Man, hello and good evening. Love Bill Bixby. Yeah, the Incredible Hulk show was pretty good. It was. A. Thompson, I don't see what everyone else is seeing. I enjoy all space movies. The new Star Wars movies were worth watching. Oh, sorry, A. Thompson. No. I didn't see anything wrong with the Disney Plus Star Wars series. Oh, geez. Well, again, I meant to do this rather abruptly, so I can't go into. I'm sorry, we're going to part company on that. But look, if it thrilled you, well, then I guess it did something good. A. Thompson, Star Wars is about big government oppressing alien planets and the uprising of those aliens. Well, it used to be. Susan Dolan, hail again, Canadian Spider-Man. Karmic, hello, Canadian Spider-Man. I'm curious, have you ever seen Italian Spider-Man trailer? Yeah, that one was pretty good. Still waiting on the full film. A. Thompson, damn it, I put down the phone for 20 seconds and he finished coloring the image. This would have taken me hours. What am I doing wrong? Well, I don't know. Susan Dolan, Bill Bixby, The Courtship of Eddie's Father, The Incredible Hulk. Yes. Also, The Magician. We covered that show. It was rather brief, came and went. Karmic at A. Thompson, they were getting in depth with the government angle with the prequels. Yeah, it does get more detailed about what the problem was. A. Thompson, I enjoyed all of the Star Wars movies. I am the fanboy who dresses up like a Wookiee and runs around the theater or anything. I don't own any Star Wars stuff. I just enjoy the movies. Yeah. A. Thompson, Alien is a cool series. You have to keep in mind Ripley had a daughter. We need to find out what her daughter did. Well, I suppose they could do that, but they established she had died before Ripley returned and, never knew what the story was. So, and apparently didn't have any kids either. I think they established that. So, yeah, they kind of burnt the possibilities there. They really, there's nowhere to go. Karmic, I used to dig the Star Wars franchise, not anymore for reasons. I'm thinking of looking for unaltered, unedited cuts of the first 3 movies. Paul Reiser. A. Thompson, it's a space movie about weird planets and odd aliens and big government control. I never saw woke stuff in it or didn't realize the woke stuff I saw. Well, one of the simple things is about Last Jedi, where it establishes Luke Skywalker as a miserable old coward. You really can't do that, especially when you think about what the story of Luke Skywalker was very quickly, this was a man who risked everything to save the life and soul of a man he didn't really know, who, of course, was his father, and yet he did it. He risks all of that. Last Jedi asks us to believe, well, some years later, he decides to murder his sister's son because, well, he had a bad dream about him. It's just, no. That is awful and stupid. And sorry. No, I mean, hey, the spaceships look cool. Yeah. But no, that was it for me. And pretty much there are only 6 Star Wars films. It's pretty much over as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, A. Thompson, looking at Alien, the story on Earth and about the mega corporation takeover of government, that would be a good movie. Yeah, you could. And I think initially Prometheus was supposed to be like a spinoff type thing is what Ridley Scott wanted to do. It just didn't turn out that way. But yes, the life on Earth as it is and all that, you could do a whole series out of that. A. Thompson, Wayland put himself in David, though. Did he? I didn't really. I mean, you could see that the aspects of it, and so it's based on him, but is that actually him? You see, they do this all the time where they say you can upload your brain into an android. No, if it's possible for you to have a digital version of your mind uploaded into a machine, it's basically just a copy of you. The real you is dead on the floor. A. Thompson, she injected herself with the black goo from Prometheus. Yes, she did. A. Thompson, yeah, the gestational process is like 10 minutes now. Kind of lame. That's right. Yes. A. Thompson, Doug, how do all these YouTubers know what will happen in the future of Alien? I watched a video. Weyland-Yutani is outlawed by all governments. How do people know that? I don't know. I mean, unless they're talking about other adaptations and whatnot, comic books, video games, maybe that. But I don't know. Does it all maintain as canon? I don't know. News to me, though. Karmic, that was great adding Pat to the sleeping dude. LOL. Yes. Yes, it is. Look, be careful if you seek fame and fortune and fans. Because, look, the movie does have a point. Fan is short for fanatic. Yeah. Let's hope everyone's happy with their super tips being read and stuff. Karmic, that was great. Oh, yeah. Karmic, LOL, it works. Ha, 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 ha. Great stuff. And Pat, oh, God. Oh, okay. Pat says, yes, you can rant. So, yes, you can send Rumble rats. Thanks, Pat. That's $1 for good old Mr. Nelson. Well, I need to put that in a frame and put it on the wall. My first online payment. Well, not really. I do get paid through locals. So, Karmic, where is the stream? Where is the stream on Rumble? Tried to find the Rumble version of the stream, but couldn't find it the other night. Well, you go to my Rumble channel, Mr. Nelson. Now I gotta go look for it. The Mr. Nelson. Come on. What is the link? Rumble.com/user/Mr. Nelson. Yes, it's just that simple. And there you can see it on the Nelson Rumble channel. Again, Pat Dixon sends a Rumble rant for $5. You can rant as much as you want. Get on with the weird drawings for cash. Well, we'll have to. Weird drawings aplenty. Oh, yeah. A. Thompson, Rouge One was great. I think you mean Rogue One. Oh, no, you did spell it right. Sorry. Yeah, Rogue One is the best of the batch as it comes with, and that's also with the D Plus series. Andor is probably the best show they did. I mean, it's not probably, it is. It's just not a lot of Star Wars to it. It doesn't look or feel like Star Wars, but it's a very intelligent show, and I did like it. I mean, if it had been something else, some other its own sci-fi thing, I think it still would have been pretty good. But other than that, the Mandalorian shows were, they were fun and good, except for that last season I didn't care for. And that's it. There's really not a whole lot left to it, and it's burnt me too many times. Other people can pick it up and see if they enjoy it or what have you. You each their own. But I'm pretty much done with it. Karmic, the best part of Rogue One was Darth Vader kicking ass before breaching Leia's ship. Yeah, that was really awesome shit. Watching him do that wholesale slaughter. I think they had to put that in. They almost didn't do it. I'm like, what are you, stupid? Well, now we know. A. Thompson, Alien and Star Wars fanboys know every little thing before they even see the movie. The Easter eggs are incredible. Yeah, Easter eggs are fine, but when that becomes a focal point, which to some degree is what happened for Alien Romulus, there was a little too much, even regurgitating dialogue that were favorite catch lines from the previous movies. One, maybe two, you're stretching it. It got to be way too much of that kind of thing. Thanks. Found it. Thanks, Doug, says Karmic. Yeah. And finally, A. Thompson, they can do side mission Star Wars movies and I'll go see them. And so will the snobs like Doug. Just admit it, Doug. Well, you're assuming there will be. I'm assuming the Mandalorian movie will get made. The others, there's been so many that have been announced and then nothing comes of it. I'm sure they're in a bit of a shakeup at the moment with after the Acolyte and all that stuff. I don't know. I only watched Acolyte because I was on the part of the Pop Culture Breakdown show with Doomcock, and he said, "Hey, we're going to review that." So that was it because I was done, and that show was stupid. So I have no hope, no new hope for Star Wars. And there's only so much time in one's life, and I'm not getting any younger. And I'm looking for something else, Maybe Marvel can make a comeback. There's a possibility there, and that's a bit more variety to it overall. But I'm dubious on that as well. So it's sad, but what are you going to do? So everybody, take off now and get some sleep and rest easy like Pat's doing right here. Hopefully John Travolta won't sneak into your house and watch your TV. And there's Bill Bixby. Remember, don't make him angry. No, you know what happens if you do. So there we go. All right. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks, Pat, for the Rumble rant. That's interesting. I'm going to have to keep that in mind and do a hell of a lot more of these. If I do a buttload of them, I can quit that stupid job and just do this all the time. Wouldn't that be great? I think it would. All right. Good night, everybody.